Hi everyone, welcome to this new Flute Colloquium with Andrea Oliva. I hope that you can hear me properly. So, first of all, let's have these first minutes until Andrea arrives here. I will also share the video so that more people can join us in our conversation. So, give me some minutes that I do this and then Andrea will come and then we will start, okay? Thanks a lot for being there. It's always a pleasure. I really hope that, let me know if you hear me well, because I'm trying some new headphones and I'm not so sure if it's strange for me to hear also. But anyway, I think it will work properly, no problem. That's it, so let's go. Yes, I'm here in the video. Here. It's okay. Yes. One moment everyone, I'm just sharing the video in some places so that we have more viewers and it can arrive to more people, and that's it. And we will begin in a few moments the colloquium with Andrea. I'm really looking forward. So yes, sorry a little bit for this. It's just there's no other way to do it. Well, at least I don't know. If anyone knows, can let me know how to do it so that we don't have this, let's say, first minutes will be nice, but yeah, it's just one moment and then we can start. Okay. Okay. Okay, almost there. Okay. Now I just have to share also in my page, my studio page, and that will be okay. So that's it. We are here. So I think that Andrea is also here. So let's add him. Yes. Him and we are starting. We are getting started. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, it's like that. Hello. Hello, Andrea. Okay. Do you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. You can hear me also
Good.
properly?
Yes, yes.
Great.
I-
I'm going to turn the volume a little bit more loud. Yes.
yeah,
Is there?
good. Also, I adjust also my volume.
Yes.
Okay. Could be better. It's
Yes.
okay like that?
I'm hearing
Good.
you perfectly. So, well,
Good.
thanks a lot for being here. It's a really pleasure and an honor for me to have you as a guest. So, thanks a lot for being here. That's the first thing.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to do a speech about life and music with you.
Yes, that's I think it's going to be very, very interesting because especially what I love always is to have these kind of talks. You have seen some, you told me,
Yeah.
you have seen other colloquiums, other talks. And I think it's very interesting also to have the two worlds, no? Like I mean, the flute always it's something that comes from our personal experiences, no? And I think that's something
Yeah.
very, very interesting to know who is the person who is behind an instrument because in the end it's just a tool, no? So thanks a lot. I think I'm very looking forward, and I think that the
Thank
other
you.
people also. So first of all, also, how is everything going?
It's going well. It's going well, quite full period, despite the COVID situation. I had last month also COVID. I was at home resting. Fortunately, not so big problems for me, for my healthy, and so I just have like a little stronger flu, we can say. I was lucky about that, and so now recover after 10 days already negative. So the new idea to stay negative is strange for me. Now it's good to stay negative, but generally in my life I always try to be positive, but in this period it's not, and so I'm happy to be negative. And I already started with orchestra. I just finished yesterday a very beautiful concert, of course, streaming without audience in the public, and with a young pianist from Israel and Maestro Bichkov. We play Mozart C minor concerto and the Mendelssohn number third symphony. So, and for me, it was a very great program for comeback in orchestra, because I love both that concerto, so concerto and symphony. Maybe one of my favorite symphony, the third of Mendelssohn. So I'm so happy to work again with that kind of works, you know.
Yes,
And you, are you fine?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm going to answer the question, but first, there is someone who is saying
Yes.
that maybe they are not hearing me properly. Are you not hearing me? I mean, you are hearing me properly, no?
I'm hearing you a little not so loud, but I can hear you.
Okay, can I speak also louder? It's
So
not a
a
problem.
little bit loud.
Now I lost Andrea. I'm not sure if it's him or it's me. So people, it's me or it's Andrea who is blocked with the internet now. Yes, I think that we lost Andrea. No, can you let me know if it's me or if it's or if you cannot see or hear Andrea, because now it's blocked for me.
Can you hear me now better?
Hello.
Because can you hear me now?
Yes, now I lost you. I lost you completely.
Yeah,
It
I
seems
also have
it
some
seems maybe that
return
his
voice.
sound is too quiet. Andrea, he's out. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to try to do something. Let's see if it's better. One moment.
Yeah, okay. And
Oh,
I have some return of our phrases now.
okay. Now I'm hearing you properly. I don't know if people. Yeah,
Now
perfect now.
I can listen to you much louder, but I'm listening my previous speech.
Oh no,
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I don't understand why either. I think that maybe the Bluetooth connection for the headphones was not helping in my case. So that's why I took it out now.
Okay. I don't know.
Now it's good. Francesco says now it's good. I don't know how do you hear me, Andrea? Now.
Okay, I hear you good, but I hear two times what we say.
Oh,
I try to deactivate Bluetooth from this, how do you say, other computer.
hmm but just people is saying now that now is great. It's good audio now. Then I
Okay,
guess that it's not that in the video there is the rebound. You know what I mean?
good. So check the message if they
Yes,
say that we
let
can
us know
do
because
something
sometimes
better.
it's heard different as we hear. You know, that's the problem. So
Exactly.
okay, so how is it now? Are you hearing me properly? Let's.
I'm a little confused because I'm listening our phrases before that
Oh,
come around.
I don't know what we could do for that.
Maybe I try to abandon and reconnect myself. Sorry, I try to abandon the.
Or maybe okay. Yeah, sorry, people. Sometimes that happens with the connections. That there are sometimes technical difficulties like this with the audio. It's difficult because I cannot hear also what I hear here. It's different than what is heard in the video. So good that you let us know if something is not being heard well. Okay, I'm going to approve Andrea again. Let's see if that now it works. Sorry for the inconveniences. Let's hello. So let's see. So
Now,
now
how
I'm
is now?
hearing you. Yes.
Ah, I'm still listening at the previous
Can we
words.
can
Okay,
we leave,
we try. We
or
try.
can we please try with nothing at all, not headphones, just maybe.
Okay, I try. Yeah?
Maybe.
1 second, I just outside Bluetooth. How is for you?
Now I hear a lot of noise. Yes. Now I hear a lot of noise. We need you. Yeah. Oh, that's. Let's hope that we really find a solution for that. But it's a little bit uncomfortable because I know that for the video, I think that when Andrea was with the headphones, it was okay for the video, but I think that then he had like two audios, repeating. A little bit annoying, these things. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they not. I'm not an expert on that, unfortunately. Let's see that if we can solve it somehow and we can really do the talk in a, let's say, normal way. Because also it's very annoying to be speaking when you are hearing twice or three times the same thing. So obviously. Okay, now Andrea wants to join again. Okay.
Okay, I'm very sorry. Some never happens.
No, but still I can hear a lot of noise from you.
Everything. It's like that. I just.
Yeah, I don't.
Now everything is switched off.
Yes, I think it's maybe better if you have the headphones. Really.
Okay, I try again. So
Yes.
sorry for that, but generally. Okay, we try again with headphones. We are doing other. So how is now?
Now I lost Andrea, I think again. Hello?
Do you hear me?
Yes? Okay. Now it's better for me, at least. Now I'm not hearing you.
Okay, I hear you. Okay.
Now I hear
Good.
you. Okay.
Me too. We try.
I think yes, we should try like that because otherwise it's not working.
Okay. I'm sorry, never happened this
No.
before.
It's okay. It's okay. I
happens.
mean, with this kind of connections, it's normal, and sometimes internet doesn't go, and in fact, that's a little bit the metaphor for these virtual and online, let's say, connections, that they can be a very interesting tool, and I think they are a very interesting tool, but
or nightmare tools.
yes, but also it's like, of course, it's not the same as if we were together, and of course we could record that together, and then people can see us, but it's different because the communication is much better, and we will not have these problems because the connection is much.
I imagine you too. We have some problem with the online lessons also.
Yes.
To listen good, the quality is so nightmare sometimes.
Yes. Well,
but
in fact,
like we say many times, so better than nothing. So the poor students are blocked at home. We are blocked at home also. I don't want to cut contact, so better than nothing. Some online lesson. I'm not against this.
No, of course, it's. I think that this is really like it's an opportunity gap that's opening.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not the same. It's totally different format, and as you just said, it's very difficult to judge the quality.
Yeah, live lesson is no substitute. Has no substitute.
For me, I was speaking the last colloquium I had. It was with Felix Rengli, and we were speaking about that, and he was saying totally, and we were thinking about that, and it was like, it's like the same thing about the concert or streaming concert. In the end, it's totally different format, no? I mean, a concert, a live concert, it's a live concert.
I think we have to accept this solution to really to avoid to be in the silence, in the still, so to have the connection with the people. And better than nothing, I repeat, but nothing can substitute a live concert or a live lesson, of course. And anybody knows, but you know, for now it's the unique contact.
Yes, it's like that. In fact, there are some funny thing that I had. Like this, also, there are a lot of musicians now doing content, including myself, no, like internet content or like this. And there are some people saying, yeah, but those are not real concerts. And it's like, yeah, of course they are not real concerts. Or yeah, but those are not real lessons. Saying like if there are some tips, no video about tips, and it's yes, because a lesson it's something that there is a feedback. And it's not that you say something and because that's okay, it's just some thought or just some tip. No,
Exactly.
it's this totally different format. No, and I think it's a very good tool, but it's totally well. We have other things to adapt, but of course,
Yeah.
it's different. Yeah. So I would like to ask you now that I think that now it's the connection is somehow working better. Let's hope. Let's cross
I
fingers.
hope. I hope,
Okay.
yeah.
First of all, I wanted to say to the people that are hearing that this is something we can interact with. So if you have any question for Andrea, please write it down. We will read your comments, and you can also participate somehow from the talk. That's the first thing. Then second, I asked you how are you? You told that you had unfortunately the COVID, but you are better, luckily, and that you were had like a flu.
Now
I'm
I'm
happy.
fine. Now I'm
So,
fine.
but I wanted to ask you artistically, how did you live all this situation? And now you are working also with the orchestra. So I would like to know, how did you live this first lockdown that I know that in Italy, as in Spain, was quite big something. And also now, how is the situation? I would like to know your perspective as an artist now about what's happening nowadays, you know?
Yeah, the first lockdown for us in Italy started in March until beginning of May. So it was quite long period at home. At the beginning, I have to be honest, I felt myself lucky because I never had 1 month free, 2 months free. So I really take the first weeks as totally rest. Really, I think was very good for me the first period because I needed so much rest. I'm working too much. And then, of course, when you stay 2, 3 weeks and more at home, you start just to practice for yourself. It's not the same that practice for concert or for competition. And so no goal because nobody knew how long were this and was complicated. So I searched to have a stable form, a stable shape of my sounds and fingers or basic practicing to avoid to be when we came back to avoid to be worse, no?
Yes.
But then really the first period outside the problem of many dead in Italy, so we were worried about all the news that we read on the newspaper and the TV. So I was very sorry about that situation outside me. But for me personally, this year generally, also in this second semi-lockdown, I feel good. I feel good because really I mixed practicing, resting, and activity online, of course. Like we said, it's not the same, but with a good balance and more time to listen music, more time to read books, more time to think about my project, more time for me. That really was too many years that I did not have. And then staying positive, like I say, probably for me was a solution also to solve the COVID without problem. So I feel me very lucky. So I can consider me a lucky person also because the COVID was not so strong with me. And also because I continue to have activity, contact with students and streaming concert, contact with the audience, even this terrible year. So I used this year to produce some project more, some project also for the students in the next weeks. Everybody will know some project that I'm thinking about the helping for the student because they need help more than we, that we have stable place, no job, stable job. And so I want to help them, and generally the youth, but more specifically more the youth, young flutists, and because there's many gifted flutists in all over the world, you know, that need help from us, that we somehow we reach our good position. And I think I was lucky also to have these kind of jobs, teaching and orchestra, and now it's time to give back something. I always thought that are lucky that you receive, you have to do, you have to give back, and most of all to the youth, to the young. Of course, when you play in concert, in streaming, and you have not receiving applause, for example, you have not the energy that come back, it's really a big problem. So I miss yesterday in our streaming concert yesterday, I miss really the applause, because you give a lot playing, trying to do your best, your concentration, then you receive nothing.
Yes, totally. Yes.
But sometimes, in my experience, it's also a little bit like that teaching. I don't know in your experience, but you give a lot of years, you give a lot of energy for years, and then come back later, the success of your students, one job of another student, or they win a competition, and slow come back the energy and so the really goal. So it come back the motivation for you that I'm doing the right things, no? Because sometimes one entire day of teaching, I feel more tired than play, you know, because you give, and you will receive later from the students. Of course, also during the lesson, you see already progress sometime, you know, not all the time, but sometime, often you receive already the progress and you are happy about your teaching. But most of all is an investment of your, your knowledge, and come back much later with the result of the students. And I'm so happy when this come back, because they deserve, because they work a lot, and a little bit I deserved, because I work a lot for them. So in that sense, the COVID year is something investment for the future. I try to use this kind of limbo timing to produce new idea and to produce new energy, just also because I was, like I told you before, I was more resting. And it's so important. So I understood better that the body resting is so important to have a quality in the execution of a musician. It's not just how much you practice. The body must be okay. And so generally speaking, really, I'm against the most people, maybe. So I'm against the idea of most people that saying, this year is to cancel. This bad year, I hope that finish soon, this bad year. So for me, it was not at all a bad year, actually, even with COVID taken. You know?
Yes, thanks a lot. I mean, what I love most about these talks that I'm doing, I have to be honest also, is precisely the honesty about that all guests are having. You know, because all of them, all the guests I was speaking with, all of them, they were always very honest with their thoughts. You know, and for me, it's very interesting this, because, for instance, now you were very honest, because I think we should not be naive about the situation.
No, exactly.
It is. Everyone has their own personal situation, and of course we agree that in general terms this year is a disaster for all the sanitary situation, and for the cultural consequences, and for all the society changes that will come. And but we all agree. But it's also true that if you have the focus in different steps, I mean, there is people, and every individual people has their individual and personal life also, and it's what you are saying. I'm thinking also that in the personal and artistic life, sometimes, and I spoke a lot with other artists, other flute players, and they all of them somehow they shared some things. One of those is that having time is very important. Yeah. And this especially everyone says at the beginning. Of course, then later when it's too much time, or when people that don't have goals, then it can be complicated. But in your case, for instance, I think it's very good adjustment. It's like you had
Yeah,
time and then you started to use this time in order to generate something, and I think this is very important. I try at least to do, I try it at least to do something. What can I do from home, no? So then I try to do
exactly.
these kind of activities. Anyway, everyone tries to do the ideas that they maybe have, and I think this is positive. And some thought I wanted to share with you is, I think that before, and we will have it later because it will come back. We cannot be naive as this passes, and it will pass. Then we will come back to a situation that will be somehow the same. And I'm speaking about this super demanding working stress that musicians can have, no? And I think that I would like to ask you about that. So this year you say that you were happy because you had time, and with this time you can generate things.
Yeah.
So what will be for you an ideal for, let's say, for the future? You would like to have like more time in order to invest. I mean, how will you distribute the time in an artist's life? Because that's the problem, that we don't have time to generate sometimes things, you know.
One lesson that everybody take, I think, it's to have more time with the parents, with the people that you love.
Mhm.
And so I had the opportunity to stay more with my relatives, and I promise, I try to maintain the promise to myself to have the same the next year and the next years, because, like I said, I noticed that I worked too much and I was not enough together with the people that I love. So, or even friends or girlfriends or parents. And I will try. I know that next year will be again full of work. I'm already planned the 2022.
Yes,
2021 is almost finished in my agenda,
yes.
but I try to keep this lesson, and also to rest more and put space between things. I think it's very important lesson also this, no? When you do even a video for a tutorial or a tip lesson like yours, I like very much your tips video lesson, and or you put on one streaming concert, one week lesson, but it's important to put space between that stuff, because you can do everything much better.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Each activities needs all your concentration, all your rest, body rest, and I'm used, unfortunately, to put everything together. And so until the COVID, I considered one free day to travel to the next place. So for me, it was holiday. The train,
Yes.
the plane was one day holiday. But in that train, you know better than me. You work, mail, and you practice also with scores. You listen. So it's not really holiday resting. And so if I can, I try to maintain more space free between things to have more concentration on the stuff and try to do best each things, not so, no, um, together, all together. And then I think it's a good thing to have more online lesson. It's a very good thing to have more possibility to listen masterclass and lesson, but of course must be together with the normal one,
Hmm.
to with the live. It's also good to have more online concerts, because now each orchestra in Italy has a streaming
Hmm.
channel or a YouTube channel, that before was only few orchestra that had this. But of course must be together with a normal life of concert, because the experience to enjoy a concert, to watch also the people and not only listen the people, and the atmosphere that you breathe during a live concert, it's, you know, amazing and unique. But something more online, something more offer for the people just maybe far away, only because they can't afford the travel of a long flight to come to listen
Yes.
our concert. Why not? We keep this. And I think I heard one philosopher, or I think was a journalist, I don't remember. In an interview, he told very nice things, I think, and I want to copy him. that things. The COVID was is a time machine
Hmm.
that put everybody else 10 years forward.
Yes,
So now everybody must to be technology uh, as in 10 years, maybe, no?
yes, yes,
And I like this comparison, how do you say,
yes, comparison,
comparison,
yes,
because COVID pushed us, forced us so far away. And something is good because the more technology it's better to have together with the normal life that everybody hope that next year will be.
yes, totally. In fact, you know, we were speaking about that with my wife this morning when we
Yeah,
were eating. No, but it's this kind of conversations that now I think that every musician or every person has, but musicians now specifically, I think that somehow it's like, as you are saying, that the COVID is like this time machine that's getting us like forward. I totally think that, and I really think that somehow we should adapt and we should understand that those let's say are different different tools that we have. In my case, personally, and I think it's the case from everyone. Now I have the chance to work from people, let's say from Colombia or from
exactly.
Portugal or from
So far
countries that
away.
otherwise I could not have the chance, or the students could not have the chance to do a lesson. Of course, the format is totally different. It's not the same as if I were giving, or as when you give a live lesson.
Of
It's a
course.
different format. The same with the concert. I think something should not substitute the other thing because they are different things. And also the other thing that we were speaking with my wife, and I think it's quite interesting, is that for musicians, I think it's very important to not have only one card, but a lot of cards,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
because that this year has demonstrated that things can go to
exactly.
can fall down because it can happen
Fall down
something.
everything. Yeah,
Yes, and maybe if you only have one thing that you're super concentrated in just one thing, super, and I think that's diversification, no, to diversificate, I think, and I think this is
exactly.
very important in every musician's life because then you have different areas, and also for me it's very healthy. Of course, now I'm missing the performing part.
Yeah, yes.
Obviously, because here in Switzerland now it's not possible to play not for
Mm,
more than 15 people, etc. So from November, I played only 2 or 3 concerts, and very difficult. But
yeah,
anyway, I really miss that. But I know that in the future I will not stop doing these kind of things also because I will
exactly.
miss otherwise. So I think
It's something more that we have, some more tools that maybe
that's
we had before in less amount, and now we have just more, and something to keep. I think
it.
it's a good thing to have more connection, also thanks to the technology. Why not?
I think also some adding something to some thoughts you were doing that I thought very interesting. You were explaining, I mean, a little bit your life, no? And you were saying giving to the student or giving to the
Yeah,
audience, and then sometimes not receiving now with this COVID situation,
yeah,
with the audience that you are not getting the applause, no? And somehow I think that that's everything like linked to something very basic about music, which is like we are communicating, it's
yeah.
communication. And then of course when you are communicating you want that there is a conversation, and if you don't have the audience, of course the atmosphere is totally different because it's different, no?
Yeah, it's a communication that miss one person, so it's
Somehow, yes,
monologue.
yes. And also
Yeah,
with the students, and another thought that I wanted to add to your super nice reflection already is that of course with this kind of with the pedagogy, let's say with the it's of course it's also a conversation because you are giving a lot, and I agree with you that you are sometimes much more exhausted as playing in a concert, of course, but
yeah.
also it's
Sometimes,
true that the results, as you say, can come in form of goals that have been achieved, obviously, and also that you see this development. As you say, in even a lesson, you can see that, and that's what it's worth, and of course, obviously, but also happens that sometimes it's, I mean, in learning, I think it's so long process.
yeah,
They are so long processes that, for instance, I spoke with Felix some days ago, and I was saying, "Hey, now I understood something you said like 7 years ago," you know.
yeah,
And these kind of things also it happens. I mean, and I think it's a little bit this thing about pedagogy is like you are teaching a kid something, and maybe this takes a lot of time, and this is something that we forget in our society, that things take time, that really things take time, you know.
And Rostropovich teach us, no, that you are practicing today for the result that you want next year.
Yes,
So,
yes, that's it.
he was always saying like that. For me also, for example, some tips in the lesson by Sir James Galway, I understood much later, and also listening other lessons that happened also to me, and now I solve these things. But so it's a spectrum very long in the long year. And but when come back is some interest, how do you say interest together?
Yes,
Like in the bank, no?
yes,
you you have to give some more money.
yes, yes. No, it's
And
true.
because when a student of me win a place, win a job, or in the orchestra or competition, so come back with a lot of extra money, you know,
Yes, of course.
satisfaction. So then you think, okay, it was the good street, so here's the good way.
Or also you can see it that way somehow. Also, these kind of things are like the butterfly effect. It's like you give maybe some inputs that for you, and I think you have to think a lot to find these very concrete inputs. But in fact, if you think about that, the inputs can be very concrete. I mean, these two things maybe, and then these two things can generate a super big success later, no? And it's a little bit this, like a wave, no? Also.
Yeah, like life, no? Like it's
Yes.
like a waves of a swimming pool, no? What you do during swimming, go to the sides of the swimming pool and then come back to you.
Mm.
That the same waves come back to you. So if you do good, then come back good.
Yes.
If you do bad things, come back to bad things. So I'm a little thinking like that in the life. So, and also I base my life to many solutions possible different. So the differentiation, no? You told you diversification. How
Yes.
do you say? If the orchestra goes wrong, I have conservatorio. If the conservatorio goes wrong, I have other courses. And so I always base my life. I have chamber music. I have groups. I have, so not only one orchestra. No, I have many orchestras where they can invite me as guest.
Mm.
And so you have to base your life on the diversification. Otherwise, you have just one things. So of course, that means a lot of work, a lot of practicing, a lot of lucky also, and to build your life really with much more different things. And it means busy life and less time for yourself, for your relatives. But you cannot have everything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, of course, that's a question. That's a matter of balance. But also, I think that professionally speaking, it's very interesting to have this kind of different things, because then also it's very healthy for the mind. Because if you are playing like all the time the same with also the same people, it's like that. I mean, it's also good to open a window and then come back, and I think it's also very interesting that.
So for me, maybe one other person, it's very comfortable with one
Of course.
thing. But for me, if I don't change, I'd be crazy.
I think the same. I know that this is very personal. I know it's not a universal truth. There are no universal truths about personalities.
No, exactly.
Obvious.
My personal idea.
So I would like to learn now precisely a little bit now a little bit deeper about these personalities and this personal side. So I always ask the same question. I know it can sound a little bit like really or a little bit naive, but it's not. The answers are always very important, very surprising, and very. It's for me. It's like if I have a light and I'm seeing through because it's.
No, I don't share my secrets. No,
No, I know, but no, but what I say is that the question can sound like very basic or very like that, but I think it's interesting to see what the flute is or the person answer, no? And it's okay. Why the flute? Why did you take the flute?
Why the flute? Tuba was too heavy.
Well, it can be that.
No, actually, I started very young, at 6 years old, to so in my garage of my in the box of my apartment was a Bontempi, a little piano electric. And I start just to find the melody and the harmony on music in the advertising in TV. It was a very famous pasta firma. And so my parents say, you are gifted for the music because you just play a song without knowing the notes. So my mother asked we have 5 grades elementary school, so the first grade school from 6 to 11, and there's no music in Italy. It's not so. I mean, maybe now it's changed, but when I was young, was not about music, only other material. And the teacher take money to have a maestro, singular person that teach each week music, and he bring to us the flutes, all the family, piccolo to the big flute in the dolce family. So block
yeah, the recorders, yes.
Record all the family, and then who wanted guitar, piano, and then he teach us to sing in choir, and for me it was great, amazing. So if you think around from 8 to 10 years to sing in a choir, for example, Signore delle Cime, a very famous Italian song for choir, or other stuff, also Mozart, chorale, and playing the flute was so nice. And so my passion for music bring me to the inscription of in the conservatory of Modena, my city. But the inscription at the beginning was piano, because I started with this electric piano in the garage. So I was very bad in piano, actually. I did just 1 year, 1 year enough, and they, with a very bad vote, kick me out of the school. But I have to thank my first piano teacher, because at the age of 11, she said, "No, you are really not musical. Stop it. Maybe try flute." So, okay, maybe you don't need music to play flute, no? So, but just I was little sad about that. So I really stopped everything for the 3 years, and then we have 11 to 14, another school grade. I just continue my dolce flute that everybody ate, but it was my connection. And then at 14 years old, I wanted to sing, how do you say? Because that core experience, and also Knabenchor, white voice core, during the piano period, permit me to sing the real opera in the real theater in Modena, Reggio Emilia, Parma, with Werther and Tosca, and I was inside the white core. And for me, the experience of build up an opera, rehearsal, everything, the backstage, and the smell of the woods in the theater was so touching, so I want to sing. I want to be a tenor in that theater. So I went to the conservatory again and trying to enter in a singing class, but they say, no, you are too young, you have to change the voice. Wait until 18 years old and try another instrument. So I tried flute because I knew the dolce flute, maybe it's the same, I thought. And I tried the admission exam, nothing, from zero at 14 years old. And they just tried to play, they give me the head joint. I played quite loud. So the teacher was happy. Gabriele Betti, that unfortunately this year, he's not more with us. He died this year, not for COVID, but so for that reason, it's a part of very bad year for me personally. But at the beginning, he really stimulated me a lot, because from the first admission, he trusted in me a lot. And in these first years, he gave me a lot of repertoire, baroque and classical and solo and repeat. So I really had a lot of repertoire, and I start to love the flute and this repertoire. And I forgot the singing. Fortunately for the people, because I have a really bad voice. I try later at 30 years old, but my colleagues kill me when I try again. And maybe for that reason that I wanted to sing, I always thought the flute like my voice since the beginning. And I always, when I see a score, I never think to blow in a tube, but always to sing something. And my voice is producing by a flute, so through a flute. And also was easy for me to read, because after piano, just 1 year enough, but was enough to read. So you have just one line, just in violin key, so it was very easy. I had a very good prima vista, and that helped me to go quicker. So I jumped 2 years in the conservatorio, finishing 5 years. Thanks also to Gabriele Betti, my teacher, that trust me and try to cut some here to finish before, because I entered a little later, no? 14 years old. And then I started to try audition for orchestra and perfection, also course of perfection with other teacher, for example, with Claudio Montafia in Italy. Do you know him?
No, I don't know him.
He is very great flutist and teacher, and he was one historical student of James Galway. And I wanted to copy James Galway style somehow. And he was in Italy, so he translated for me the James Galway school.
Great.
He had a lot of many great students, also many colleagues. So just starting the life, trying to do audition, and I lost a lot of audition. I always say to my students, I never win everything what I did. So I sometimes outside first round, sometimes outside second round. I did a lot of audition, also losing the position before win something. So, and that is important. So that was just stimulating me to do better in the next audition. So sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad, but it's a life. So
yes,
never stop.
Yes, but yeah, great, very touching story. But you know, it's very interesting. As I said, with the question, the answer speaks a lot about the personality, I think. And somehow I can say that the fact that you were playing, let's say you wanted to play the piano, and then some circumstances happened that then you didn't play the piano, then you wanted to sing, and then but then you play the flute. And the thing is that in life, and I think that's what happens later with auditions, with competitions, and with everything, for entrances for a teaching position, concerts, even concerts, preparation for concert, for chamber music, or for everything. Sometimes we fail and sometimes we succeed. And in fact, we only learn from the failures. Yeah. I think so, because from the things that go well, of course, you cannot always learn from everything, but you learn from the failures. It's like if you're practicing and you make a mistake, you learn from that. You don't learn from the things you do well, because you already do well. That, you know, it's like
There's a motto in Italy. Yeah, we learn from our mistakes, so it's really common to say this. Yes. The very first lesson probably is that somehow the music, above all the instruments, always called me. The music. So I wanted to do music in somehow. Yes. And any instrument you use, you have to do music. And that guided me all the time. And for that reason, so I was not one of the best flutists in the class of the conservatorio. I had not so much technique. I had not so special sounds. So quite good sounds, quite homogeneity in the sound, but not so special. I had all the problem that many students have. So C sharp to sharp, to smiling position, to staccato too hard, and blocking tongue. But my teacher told me, you know, you are lucky more than the other, because when you play, the people never became bored.
Yes.
And this is a lucky, because music I can teach you. Technical, I can teach you something, or embouchure, I can teach you some breathing, I can teach you. But if you don't have music, of course, you can not be a musician. So somehow the music that called me was not the right instrument, the singing, the piano, and then I found finally the flute. And that is the lesson. So some parents ask me, how is going my son or my daughter with the flute? And if these people, it's not so good, it's not a question, maybe it's the music is not for you. Maybe it's the instrument is not for you. Maybe try to change. You have time to change. Um, Piano and singing was not my instrument. Then I found so, but the important is to be expressive in music, to do art somehow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The thing is that, as you say, I think there is also a very interesting experience that it's singing. Singing is very,
Yeah,
very, very important because obviously for a wind instrument, it's very easy to translate. It's not the same as it's not everything the same, of course, but it's what you say. I mean, the feeling of singing.
90%,
90%.
90%.
Then there is a 10% that it's counterintuitive, but then we will speak later maybe about more flute things and this more concretely. But it's what you say. These some technical things. I mean, technical things can be learned, but for me there is something very important. I think that the best teachers that we have is well ourselves. It's always a very typical sentence, but it's our ears, I think. And this is very difficult because this means that the student needs to have the ears, and this
Yeah,
comes related for linked with me for about with this musical seeking character personality because if the student hears the difference and has the ability of searching, then maybe the student can learn the technical skill to do that. Or maybe, as you say, maybe not, maybe with the piano, myself, when I play, I'm super bad. I mean, I'm not the best, coordinating my both hands and the both sides or whatever. I'm super terrible at this as well. Yes, but it's what you say, but if you have the ability of expressing a musical phrase,
yeah,
singing or with other things, then maybe you will find a way, an instrument or something that yeah, it's more suitable maybe
exactly.
for you or for your yes. I really
Yeah.
agree. And then
Maybe someone has more the rhythm inside, and they can do a percussionist or
yes,
timpanist so well, better
it can
than
be.
melodic
Yes,
instrument.
it can be. It
You
can
have to
be.
find your way. But
Also,
if the music is the more important for you, so I just was sure about one thing, that music was so important for me, above everything else, above family, above love, above my youth age.
hmm,
Music was the most important
yes,
things, and so I have to do music. So,
yes.
so
And then, because now I think it's also very important point now that you are naming that, because also you are very honest saying that for you music was the most important, no?
yeah.
Okay, why? Why? Do you have any explanation for that, or do you have it, let's say, analyzed why it is like that, or?
Probably I'm starting to think more as Buddhist. uh, Probably is because in another life I started already to do something in music, and I just finishing a travel, because something and nobody teach me, but I knew already somehow that mm, the music, the style of some pieces, it's like I knew already, or some technical stuff also in the flute. For example, double staccato, and nobody teach me. So I just wanted to go quicker, and I found that teke teke was better than tata. And
Yeah.
my teacher, when I came with the Tempesta di Mare by Vivaldi, the second year of Conservatory, who teach you the double staccato? What is double staccato?
Yes.
I just play staccato quicker. I found this solution, and it was good. So maybe in another past life, I was already a musician. I don't know, but yeah, for sure. Like told my friend yesterday in another interview, Lello Narcisi is also my assistant in Lugano, very
Hmm.
great musician, and I agree with him. And he say in some point of our life, everybody knows that music save us. So, and I really can also remember that moment. I knew that music was my safe zone, and okay, I go there because all the other stuff are too dangerous for my healthy, for myself. and I close myself in the music. So the music never, how do you say, never, mm, never give me some bad things. Music is always honest with me if I'm honest with her.
Yes.
So, and when you know something save you, you go there.
I think that really for every professional musician, I think, or well, at least, well, I'm not so sure. Maybe that's polemic. Maybe there can be some professional musicians that maybe they don't share this vision, and maybe that's why also they are not so interested in music. It can happen also. Can also happen.
I don't
Unfortunately, I
know.
think.
I don't know.
Anyway, what I think is that uh, there has to be a very strong connection personally and psychologically with music. In my case personally, I think in everyone's case obviously different, but it's something, for instance, that make a musician feel like complete. In my case also, it was something like sociabilizing, being able to be social, because when I was 16, for instance, it was very difficult for me to get in touch with someone. I don't know.
Yeah, for me too.
Of
For
course,
me
I
too.
wanted to do the things that the young people do and etc. But not all of them, because for me it was also most important maybe to hear Bach, and it's like, what, really? I mean, and it's true. I mean,
Yeah,
but not, of course, not all the day. Oh, come on, I also wanted to play video games. It's of course,
yeah,
yes,
of course.
obviously, but it's not this. But it's true that there was a part of me who wanted that, no, and wanted that very
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
And until I did not have the chance to play in a youth orchestra with other musicians, and I met like one of the most of the people that now they are my best friends also, or people that I could have a relationship, with, that they were other people from my age that had of obviously the same young people interest, but sharing music. And with that, it can sound a little bit like sect or a little bit like that. But I
yeah,
think that at that time in the life, I think it's very important because you feel very recognized also with that. Then maybe later in your life, you can somehow live other experiences, or maybe you evolve differently with
yeah.
that or whatever, no? But I think that when one
Okay.
is young, it's very important. It has something very, and this is something I really think, and I spoke about to other people. I think that all the professional musicians have really a fire inside, that they really need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
to
exactly.
play and to
Because
express something.
it's something personal. It's something that must come from inside, no?
Mm.
This passion, this knowledge that something is so important for your life, and like a beautiful sound, I think. To search at the beautiful sound. Each day we search the best sound, maybe better than yesterday, possibly.
Mm.
I'm sure you do also, and it's something that cannot come from the teacher. So give me your best sound. So what means? So you have to ask from yourself. So I need to have my best sound. It's not something that come outside this request, and the music above that is like that. So if doesn't come from you, so for example with piano, so my first piano teacher was right. So my parents pushed me to practice piano. You are not practicing enough, so they must push me. With the flute, they must ask me to come to eat. Please
Yes.
stop to practice flute. So that's reason that I understood that I found my street, my way, because from inside come many hours of practicing without sacrifice. No, everybody say, "Oh, so young, you sacrifice your age." No, but for me was not sacrifice. For me was playing, was a happiness. If you do something that comes from inside, it's not sacrifice. Even now, I don't think I'm doing jobs.
Yes.
Maybe it's too much. Maybe some colleagues are against this sentence, but even now orchestra teaching, so I love what I do. It's not a job for me, it's a joy.
Yes.
It's a joy, and they pay me even
Yes.
for that. It's amazing. Uh, so I can't say that, so that it's not a great things. No, we are very lucky.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's like it's. I think it always needs to stay a passion, because when passion
Yeah,
doesn't it's not there, then motivation is not there, and when motivation is not there, then music, it's very difficult that happens
exactly.
easily. And also it can happen, and it can happen that we lose motivation about things, about projects, or about things, or about it can happen, but then it's needed to always have, that's why I say it's very important to diversificate, to have different things.
Yeah.
Because yes, because life, for me, I think there is something that it's routine, and routine can be, it's needed for practice, it's needed, but in life to have a routine, but
No.
also it kills other things. You know what I mean? We
For
can.
practice, yes. For practice, yes. But routine, when you play a routine, no, it's not
I
good.
know. It's what I say. It's what I say. Even about teaching, no. If there is a routine, and okay, now the student comes, and I'm going to say this and this and this, and then it's like, then the motivation can run away from there, and
Yeah.
then it's very
Yeah.
dangerous. No?
This year can teach us also because we had a lot of time to think about things, no?
Yes,
Because we
we
were
are
closer to,
philosophers this year.
yeah, everybody philosopher. One thing that I teach probably is if something is really not like you, so you are, if something you don't like anymore, stop it.
Yes,
So really
yes.
change. Otherwise, motivation is away.
No, because otherwise it
Even
becomes.
if it's a comfortable situation, okay, don't continue just because it's a comfortable. So do just what you like really, and you put all your passion in.
And
Otherwise, stop.
And if you don't like, and because, okay, again, it can be a little bit naive because there can be people that they need to do something because they cannot afford the, yes, but then it's like, yes, but it's very important that you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Yeah,
Because I think that here is the key for being efficient also. I mean, if you don't want to do something, then try to not doing it. Sometimes it's not possible, maybe you cannot afford it, but at least think about it and have a B plan.
yeah,
And start
exactly.
to have a B plan, and then
I
maybe at some
always,
point,
I also, I always try to have a C and D plan also in
yes,
my
also.
job's life.
Yes, that's it. At least I think like that. I know. I mean, I say like that, and it's very difficult. I don't have 23 positions. It's not possible. And in fact, I'm always
It's good.
freelancing on this. But
It's good. Don't work too much, like
yes,
otherwise you need another
another
lockdown.
life to live the personal life as well. Yeah, well, it's a little bit that I think. Somehow, I think that what we were saying from the beginning, a musician for its personal formation needs so much time. It's like a plant that you need to feed
Yeah,
during so much time, to see the results and etc. That
yeah.
also then it's difficult to have it's very difficult to find the personal balance between personal life, artistical life, professional life, which sometimes it's not. Oof, it's quite complicated, not this?
Sometimes it's the fusion of
Yes,
personal life and social life is the same.
yes,
Sometimes.
yes. I would love now, because I think that you were speaking about the voice, about the singing, and you already started speaking about what's a beautiful, finding your best beautiful sound every day. Maybe I think we could now land a little bit the talk into the flute, but I can really see a little bit your perspective, which is like it's not the instrument, it's like the musical need that was behind, no, to the instrument.
Yeah.
So then I would love to ask you something to start with the flute, let's say, part with your perspective. It's like, okay, then when you start to play now, for instance,
Yeah.
when you had the COVID, you said at the beginning also that you did some exercises, you did, okay,
Yeah.
what does
Base.
Andrea Oliva, let's say, do in order to find himself? No, I think it's very important. We all have something, no? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the sound and the voice so was always at the center of my practicing, even when I was younger. And so to center myself is a good thing to center my sound because it's like a active meditation for me practicing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't meditate really. I tried to meditate in the past, but I don't do so much that. But when I practice, concentrate and focus, it's like a meditation. And so basically a warm up for me is search the best sound in each octave with some exercise that everybody knows, some nothing special. For example, the warm up by James Galway, I find very, very good. It's a good melody with flexibility. It's this variation of a famous semitone of by Moise, no?
Mm-hmm.
I found very, very nice exercise in the Claudio Montafia book. The teacher that I told you before, he wrote a very nice book. It's called Cantabile e Flauto, that I suggest all the time to my students, and I practice myself. Vocalize, arpeggio, everything to find the best sonority, harmonics, and improvisation, trying to play the same pieces in different keys, to move the musical mind, because the most important warm up is the musical brain, no? That you have to warm up, not just finger and air and lips. And so, and then Reichert, I love the first, at least the first four exercises of Reichert, and then scales, but for the homogeneity of the sounds. I always practice scales, not for gymnastic for the finger, but for the sounds. And I try to teach to my students also the same. Then you try sometimes very quick to move also quicker finger and to have a regularity, of course, but main work also in the technical exercise like scales is to find the best sound in each octave for me. And so that was very basic, so nothing special, to keep my shape good. And I'm honest that many days I didn't practice because I was in my resting period.
Yes, yes.
My miracle resting period, thanks to COVID. But when I practice, I did that. And then I tried to practice also new pieces that I did not practice before, to put in the future concerts. I read some also contemporary pieces, and also normal pieces that I never played, like Lieberman Sonata. I'm practicing, and I started to practice in that first lockdown because I never played concert I want to do in the next future. So simple things like that. Try to have a balance between my free time and my hobby and passion is to cook. So I need to have some time to cook. And then for trying to focus the main things in the repertoire. Also, you can practice with a good method, of course. The technical stuff you can solve in the repertoire. So daily practicing with exercise and solve your problems in the repertoire. For example, I must play Reinecke, that was cancelled. And so I just focus on the main difficult passage of Reinecke with different rhythm, with different articulation, forte, piano, just the passage that I find difficult. Because many things in execution, come out alone. No? You don't need to do capofondo from the beginning to the end, entire movement. So just focus on the, for me, I like to practice like that, focus on the main problems, and then try the execution just before the concert, some days before the concerts. Yeah, just was nothing special, but keeping the idea that each sound must be musical, each sound that we produce must be music, even the first semitone of Moïse. And there's nothing without music, because I try to teach a lot of technical things to my students to solve problem, piano in tune, forte in tune, lips and diaphragm, like you, I imagine, because we give the tools to do better music. So sometimes I give this, so I don't put so much effort in the music during a lesson, because for me it's the base. It's basic. For some students, maybe they forgot that we are speaking about technical things because the music must be better. And sometimes we as teacher, we have to remember this. So we need the tools just to do better music, so not just stop on the tools. So.
I totally agree with what you are saying now, totally, because it's, and it's like, of course, the instrument is just a tool also, itself, the instrument is just a tool. And the thing is that, but also what I think is that happens to a lot of students and to ourselves, and also the days that maybe we don't feel comfortable is, for instance, if I take the flute, now what I was saying about that, if I take the flute now, which is called, we're speaking, etc., it's like, before playing something, I really need to find myself, and then I will have the security to play. And this is a little bit what I think that happens to students, you know what I mean? Like sometimes they are blocked, and because maybe they are like, and of course that's not nice, no? And then it's what, you know what I mean, no? And then maybe, of course, if you have the, like that, it's like you are not going to like it, no? And then, of course, you, nice, and then it's like, okay,
but you are doing the best thing. So with here, very open, it's your personal searching and your personal ideal that want to come out in the flute. So you are just listening, and it's very good. And we have also two possibility to hear and to feel. No, in English it's very good because we have these two words. In Italy, it's just sentire.
Yes, yes, I agree.
But it's also good because in Italy, with one word, we can say two significates. But in English, it's even more clear. If you hear, then you can also feel the body and have two teachers, like you told before.
Yes, yes.
So you almost cannot be wrong, almost. But for that, I think in your case, I can understand in your case is the same. You have to be very clear in your model. You have to have an idea and model in sound and phrase so clear, because you are searching that, I'm searching that. So I want to copy that model that I'm already listening in my brain before produce some note in the instrument. So really the first instrument is the brain that is giving our CD model, CD ideal. The second instrument is the flute that try to reproduce that we already heard.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, I think
so. This is important to teach to the students.
I think that
ideal model.
Most of the time we are just translating, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. It's and the thing is that at least it happened, but now, of course, then it's like this is I think that's the first step, and then comes all the technical work that you are saying, that it's like you are all the time like working on these kind of feelings, because it's what can give the tool or the sustain for the other, no, for the other things, for the main musical expression, no.
Yeah.
And for me, something that happened, I share with you. Let's see what you think also. Sometimes that I'm working even now, it's that sometimes I'm trying to like force the contact points. I don't know if I explain myself. I mean,
how force?
I mean, to see
in that
to see if I can do like really different stuff, you know, and then see always that I really have the point where I know that it's going to sound. You know what I mean? And then by
the
doing
contact
that,
point
yes,
with sound. Yeah.
Like I don't know if I do. You know what I mean? These kind of things, of experimenting.
To know exactly,
yes,
exactly when come out the sound.
Yes, you know? And then I can play. But it's because if I have the idea of playing like that, but I have to know where it sounds. Otherwise, I'm super insecure. Yeah. I'm not going. Otherwise, I feel like I have a frame, like a super clear frame, and I cannot go further of this frame. I don't know if I explain myself, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes happens. But I think you can save yourself, no? If you follow the ideal, combined to the technical things that you learned in the past age. Now you are learning. So for the students, sometimes that I miss. I don't know in your experience that sometimes they have a model of sound. They have nothing to copy or to try to imitate. It's not nice to say copy because nobody wanted to be a copy of another one. But I just listened when I was at the beginning, the first years, each day the James Galway CDs, and I try to imitate a way to play. You know, it's sometimes you try to imitate really a model of phrasing, a model of vibrato, of the light and the life inside the sound. And many people then tell to me that, okay, I can recognize what we are listening, but you are you. So
yes, exactly.
Fortunately and unfortunately, because it's not enough to listen James Galway to become James Galway. This is the worst part. But
no,
fortunately,
and also because James Galway is James Galway, or Pait is Pait, no?
Unique. It's unique, yeah, like Emmanuel. But I think it was so important in that age to me to try to go so hard because the model was so high. Like, of course, the Emmanuel for the new generation. If you have nothing to imitate, or even someone is scary to imitate because I don't want to be a copy, but at least try. So I know Pavarotti wanted always to be like Caruso. He always listened to Caruso. And he told in one interview a very important thing. If you want to be like Caruso, you have to hear like Caruso. You have to live like Caruso. what was he listening in that age. So if you became a new ear, no, if you create a new ear, then probably you can imitate better your ideal model. And Moise wanted always the sound of Gobert. James Gobert at the young age wanted the sound of Moise. Me, I wanted the sound of James Gobert.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Everyone has a model, no? But then your life creates your filters and you became special. So you became unique.
Yes.
Fortunately, it's like that.
And also, it happens. I think it happens to everyone. But for instance, when I was a young student, I had the tendency of playing let's say my main voice when I started to study with Felix 10 years ago. It was like, I don't know, like. You know, and then in the time I like to play more. It doesn't mean that I don't like the first version. It's not that I don't like the first version. It's just that your voice also changes somehow, no? With your
change. Yeah, because your person change, your experience of life change. You put always. I think with a good practicing, you can be sure to have the same result also the next day. So the main thing that I'm happy to achieve was to have almost same day, the same sound.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, one day good, one day very bad, one day medium, one day so good, then this kind of balance was terrible for me. And so I start to understand how to find the focus of each note and each place, and to recreate, to reproduce tomorrow too. So
yes,
that created me self-confidence a lot.
And I think that's mainly what you are trying to transmit the students. That's why it's very personal, in fact. No?
And that's why we say a lot of technical things to give tools, but sometimes it's confusing and they think that it's enough to do a lot of technical stuff to play good. Then they forget that it's music above all the technical abilities. So just transmit something, sing with the heart, the sound. I don't want perfect people. I prefer mistakes of note, but you give me something in the expression more. You risk more. Maybe some note not come out, but at least you risk, and I appreciate it because you try to do more range. No.
The thing is that I don't know how to say. Maybe that's a little bit too general to say, but I ask you, what is your opinion on that? When you hear someone who really has a musical voice behind, I think you can really say that, no? I mean, you can really notice that, no?
You feel that
problems, no?
He's musical, you mean? You feel that it's very musical, Yes.
Because look, Alvaro Octavio, precisely, he's saying, Andrea, guapo.
Grande Alvaro.
Yes.
Grande Alvaro. Ciao, Alvaro. One of the best flute sound in the world.
I agree. I totally agree. And the thing is that I was speaking with him also, and speaking about these things, he was saying that he's not afraid about, with a student, to, let's say, to start out, to change technical things or to work on technique. But what he's hearing more in an entrance exam is if there is a musician behind, because it's like he cannot teach that. Of course, you can say a lot of things, and you can be an inspiration for the student, of course, but I know that, and I agree with him, and I think you agree also, not the same, is like you can hear that even if someone is making a lot of mistakes or have some technical problem or something is not focused or whatever, but you can really tell that behind there is
something. That's one thing that I learned during the Conservatory Lugano period. So thanks to Conservatorio and teaching in this master performance, high level of the class, high level of also the other classes, we can teach at least to play not for exams, but to play like a recital all the time. So jury and me try to say all the time to our students in Lugano, you have to be a performer now. So there's no exam, even if it's, of course, exams. But at least we can teach during the month between one exam and the other to express themselves and to play concerts. They are forgot about exams. And even a mistake, it's not so important if you give me something of yourself, really. It's a question of share, no? In this period, we share everything. Facebook sharing, Instagram share.
Yes.
And I think it's not bad things to share. Of
No.
course, if it became only technology, not. But the people need to share. And for that reason, probably the many success of these Facebook and Instagram and other things is coming in all the world, because they find the key. So what makes the people sharing? So and this social is a base to share something. We can share life. We can share our soul to other people. And I love this job. So we say job, this passion that became a job, because it's so egoistic. If you think in one point, in one side, it's egoistic because we do what we like. Basta.
Yes.
And in another side, the same balance, we do everything for the other people.
Yes.
We give everything in performance.
Yes.
And we receive from other people, because that if you don't give, you don't receive.
Yes.
So it's a mix of egoism and altruism. How can I say?
Well, it's an altruism.
Strange.
It's an altruism that feels good to our ego somehow.
It's
yes.
very strange, you know, because
yes,
you satisfy your ego, but you do everything for other people.
Yeah,
Actually, it's
but
very generous.
and all the production we can generate are centered in the same, because come on, we can be honest, the talk that we are having now, and if it was with other professionals that they were like, let's say, like artisan professionals, only like that, then maybe they will be like, I'm free, I don't want to speak about that now, or whatever, no? But we really love to do it, and there is a part that I do it for sharing with people, but it's precisely what you were saying. But there is a part that I do, like for me, I enjoy doing
Exactly.
it. You know?
I think when we find this balance, it's very good things for ourselves. And so the important is, don't do this professional just to receive something. I never did something for money, for example. So many people now maybe don't believe me about this sentence that I start to say. But very rarely I did something for money. I did something because I like the project. I like the things. I do this because I like, and then the money is just natural result of this. And if you do something to gain more money, probably you don't reach the things. So you don't go to your goal.
But also, I kind of feel somehow that how to say that. In the end, money is generated because there is a market, and let's say that there is a market because people have an interest to things. And if people have interest to something, it's because it's genuine. And if it's genuine, if it's something that's done honestly, it has even more possibilities that it also generates money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the people are not stupid. The people feel that you do something with soul, with your personalities. People feel your effort to do something, and they are also happy to pay you for something like that. And it's not a mistake to receive money, but it's not the main things. You do this stuff because you like do music, you like to share also for teaching. For example, I was so lucky with teachers all the time. I was lucky. I search also the good teacher, because the teacher are not coming down from the sky.
Yes.
You know? You have to search your best teacher. So, but I feel that I was so lucky to have a lot of suggestion to develop a lot in technical things that now I feel to share. So I need to share.
Yes.
I receive a lot, and it's time to give. So for that reason, probably I like so much to teach also.
Yeah, totally. I think that you will agree totally with what I'm going to say now, but I think that I'm now also in another period, or in another moment also, that I'm not thinking that I'm how to say that I'm doing that only for giving. That, of course, if someone is teaching, is giving, they are giving things, obviously. But I also think that, at least it happened to myself also, because maybe I'm younger and I'm learning, but it's, for me, it's like I learn much more even teaching, I learned a
I
lot.
learned a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's, can you hear me now? Because sorry, but my iPods is not charging more.
Ah, okay.
Can you hear
Okay.
me anyway?
Oof.
Oof.
Can you hear me now? Now the
Now we
return.
have
Now
this.
we have this.
Ah, the return. Because my AirPods is dead.
Oh,
Oh.
It's empty battery of AirPods. So I try to recharge this. Can you listen me now?
yes, but
Yes, but
it makes
it makes
sound, it
sound,
makes a lot of
makes a
noise.
lot of
Ah,
noise.
okay. So I try to put the conversation on my Mac so I can use here earphone. I try to use this.
Okay, if you
Okay,
have.
if you have.
Maybe probably I'm sorry for the people that are following us, but probably I have to go out and come back later in the conversation.
Okay,
But
Okay,
after this,
are you coming
are
with
you
the
coming with the
computer?
computer?
yeah, I try to
Let's
Let,
try.
go
let's try
inside with the
to.
computer and with the earphone.
I'm not sure
I'm
if
not
it will
sure if
I
it
work,
will
come
but
back
work,
let's
but
soon.
try.
let's
I
try.
come back soon. I
Yeah.
exit and
Yeah.
I come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, this kind of technical problems that happens with with the connections. That when the head joints go run out of battery or these kind of things, then we have the audio coming back and through and all these kind of things. Well, now maybe it's a good moment. Let's see if we can recover the connection with Andrea. Anyway, maybe that's a good moment for you if you want to ask some questions, because I can read them and I can forward them to Andrea when we are going to later finish the colloquium. I can always give an space for questions, and let's hear his answers. So if you want to ask him something, or about technique, about a concrete thought about something, whatever, anything, just write it down and I will ask him. Okay. So let's see if he can come back, and if we can continue with the very interesting conversation. I hope that you are enjoying. And yes, thanks for being there. Sorry for these problems that sometimes we are facing. And yeah, it's like that. That's the bad part of the internet. As we are speaking, this internet offers a really interesting tool for doing even this kind of content or a lot of very interesting things, but it has this bad part that of course then maybe something happens and then we have to find a solution, and then there is interruption. Anyway, things that happen, especially when it's live, no? When it's live conversations like this one, sometimes it's much more easy to do it recording, to have it recorded, and then. But I love it when it's also, let's say, interactive, that you can be there and we can generate conversation. And well, let's see what happens. So yes, I remind you, if you wanted to do any question to Andrea, please do it. Okay, and I will read it to him. We will read you, and that's it. The thing is that I'm not so sure if Andrea can join with the computer, because this Facebook Live app gives some problems with the computers. It only works with the telephones or tablets. So I'm not so sure if maybe he can charge the headphones. Cuenta un chiste, dice Álvaro. Uf, complicado, eh? It's complicated to think about a joke like that. I can tell you one if you want. Now I think I remember one, which is about, of course, it's about the viola. It's always we have these viola jokes, no? I mean, with viola jokes, one can speak for ages. And maybe you know this one, Alvaro, too, which is that there is these viola sections that they are in a rehearsal, and the conductor gives the entrance. Yes, about violas, yes, of course, obviously. So the conductor gives the entrance, no, and they don't play, and the conductor is like, yes, but come on, it's Beethoven, Third Symphony, wham, wham, no? everyone plays. Violas, what are you doing? No, no, we don't play, we don't play. Okay. Then second chance, he gives the entrance, and everyone plays, but the violas are there. And then the conductor is like, what are you doing? And the principal viola is like, no, we have 666 rest bars. And it's like, oh, no, mi bemol, E flat major. Anyway, very bad jokes about violas. So Andrea is watching now the video, I can see, but as I told you, it can happen that now he cannot enter with the computer because I don't know why it's not possible to enter using the computer. Or it's not possible, or sometimes it is problems. I don't know why. So maybe I cannot add him now. No, from Mac doesn't work. He's telling me via WhatsApp. No, it's not working via WhatsApp. Yeah. So I don't know what we can do. Thanks, Alvaro. I don't know what we can do. I don't know if Andrea maybe has some other possibility of connecting other headphones to the telephone, but maybe not because they should be Bluetooth, or I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure what we can do. Let's try something. I will put this. Hear me, because I don't know. We can maybe try that. I have the headphones and not Andrea, and see how it sounds. So maybe Andrea, you can go in again with the telephone, and just let's give a try, because we cannot do anything else unless you have other headphones. So yes, sorry for this moment. Okay, Andrea wants to participate now, and I'm inviting him. Let's see how he's connecting. So, hello.
I'm very sorry. Yeah, I have not so much life in the AirPods, but it's the unique way to communicate with you,
I know.
because iPads
I
doesn't
know.
go, Mac
No problem.
doesn't go.
We can do.
So when this dies,
Yes, in
we
fact,
have to
let's do
finish.
something. Let's just finish the colloquium that you have not so much battery, okay? We understand.
I'm
No, no
sorry for
problem.
this
It's
break.
technology things. I hope that you also hear me now properly. If not, people
Yeah,
listening, let me know.
very
If
good.
you don't feel me, I will, yes,
Yeah,
write me. I will switch this off. So,
that's
Andrea,
right.
I would just love to take the life of the battery to ask you something. To
Yeah,
one technical thing that very concrete that I think that we struggle a lot,
yeah,
and then one personal thing to finish, and then that's it, because we already were a lot of time with you, and I
okay.
appreciate a lot for your time and for your kindness. I
Me
would love
too,
to
me
know,
too, me too.
what would you say to a student that wants to open the sound and not to have a forced sound? Because this is something quite complicated with the flute, I find, to not have a forced sound, you know?
Yeah, it's difficult. For example, starting from page 10 from the Moïse Sonorité, piano, forte, piano, and just listen what happens in each dynamics. Most of all, don't try to organize too much the lips and became hard with lips in the forte. So leave more space for the air. The bigger air stream creates the louder, the slimmer stream of
Mhm.
air create the softer, in my opinion. And everything come from a good breathing, a good, very deep breathing, and leave the air really to fill your flute completely. And if you don't force, for maybe at the beginning you can crack, or it's out of focus. Start from that to create slow a focus. Just listening your best sound that can you produce now without too much lips, 80% air, we can say 20% lips. And then the next. Start without tongue. Of course, I'm doing quicker because it's written too slow, that exercise. It's very good to do, but the people don't do
Yeah.
because it's written 60
I know.
in quarter. So just play half, 3p, fortissimo, 3p, and each note must be in tune, each note must be nice in each dynamic. Also, the famous page 23 de la sonorité by Moïse, nobody do because it's boring, but it's very useful. The same quality of sounds in each dynamics range. From 3p to fortissimo. Sometimes I don't know what I do, but I just listen if the sound remain nice and the intonation remain the same, helping myself maybe with the tuner machine. It's not the main rule, but sometimes helps, you know, and for several notes, do the same. If you start to hear too much noise, you are in the wrong direction, you are pushing maybe too much air, you are doing too much wrong things here. Just listen the best quality you can in each dynamic. Maybe today you just go to piano to forte, from piano to forte. Tomorrow you go from pianissimo to fortissimo. In 1 month, maybe you go from 4p to 4f, reaching your beautiful sound. And of course, for what is beautiful sound? So some objective idea about not too much noise inside, good intonation, reach of harmonics inside the body of the sound with a good projection. And for me, I like more the dark and round sound, not so bright, not so clear, but it's a question of taste. So try to have your model of sound and search this each day from very first note. And I suggest to my students to don't play long note. So play long note, but don't play without vibrato. Maybe just one time to try to watch what happens in your line of air. But generally speaking, if you have in mind long notes with no vibrato, then you take these memories in your adagio or slow movements and you play the long note in the repertoire with no vibrato, with no life sometimes in the sound. So if your memories is these no life sounds, you will put this in the repertoire, because always must be very connected, warm up and daily exercise with the repertoire, of course. So try to do music, like I said before, in each things you do. And if you hear good, each sound to be beautiful as each own place. I can't stay in the same position blowing the air from B to D. It's not enough. Even from B to F sharp, I already changed slightly something. What change, how much change, it's your ear that tell you. It's the best teacher, like you told before. So intonation, good sound, projection, and good open sound. For me, open sound, it means also good sound. I never search so much loud sounds. I search all the time open sounds. I went outside in the garden when I was young. Beside my garden, it was a main street with a lot of cars and camion and tier. And I tried to be louder than the noise of cars, but in opening, so not pushing. No? So if you have an open sound, open throat, open body, then the sound resonates more. And of course, like everybody knows, in the garden, there's no resonance.
Yes.
You have to create your resonance. So in each sound, you can recreate your all of sounds, all of resonance, no? Never play, for example, staccato stuff too short, too dry. In Italian, staccato, it doesn't mean short.
Yes,
it
totally.
means separated, not slowed. Short means corto. It's another word. So even if I see dots, I never play too short, too dry. So in that case, we have no dots, but even though, I don't know, you can find
whatever.
a lot of stuff with the dots, but always resonance in the sound, no? Here it's also not dots, but don't think about dots. Think détaché, no? And practice to have near sound, vicino, close sound. Starting legato. Then I go quicker with metronome. I don't play short on the staccato. I just go quicker, thinking long détaché. Then I find my velocity.
I agree totally.
It's never a question of short, dry. It's Moise told a very nice thing about staccato. I don't know, maybe you know, in one masterclass where the staccato note is something, the most alive things in the less space of time possible. I like this definition. No? So alive, vitality in less space, but in not fact, dry. Not
I totally agree with what you are saying. It's also, I share this philosophy totally. And even
yeah, for that reason, I like a lot your tips, videos.
I share totally this philosophy, you know, because for me it's needed. It's to have the life of the music is need to have this continuity, and the examples you gave are amazing. I mean, for the bird concerto, it's for me it's the way to practice it. Otherwise, it's never going to work, no. And also the Mendelssohn Sommernachtstraum, no, it's the same. I mean, always I hear people playing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Then it works much amazing. Yes.
First step is to think
even sometimes I feel myself when I, you know, for instance, even when it's like even like that, I feel that like there is this, exactly. I don't know, even
exactly. As I this a perfect example of dots that is not it. Short and not
of course
dry,
of course we give like this like the singers, but it's otherwise it's not. I cannot do even technically. It's very strange.
Exactly, and I like your phrasing on 2 bars. Everybody play too much vertical on 2 bars and not one. You do. Sorry, my microphone.
Yes.
So not one accent on each bar, each 2 bars accent. I like your idea, and these 8s are already inside the long notes. No? Dun, 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 dun. We have to think the 8s already the first bar.
Totally. It's like, and then one thing I wanted to also add, because it's what you were saying about the full sound. I think that great examples about the la sonorité is like that. It's totally, I think it's needed to do so. It's that.
Starting from
and then the thing is that one feeling I can just share about a feeling is trying sometimes from the pianissimo or from the unfocused, not unfocused, but the relaxed sound, the timbre. For this kind of sounds,
yeah,
and then
not so
for me it
focused,
helps a lot.
So focused.
From there, I try to make it full, but from the same feeling. That's it. And then I. But the approach comes from the relaxation, from the relaxed time.
From nothing.
Yes, that's it.
From nothing
I think it's the only thing, because sometimes we can get. We think that we think that we want to the power, and it comes from the you know, and it doesn't help.
No, exactly. Of course, we need more quantity of air, more more, speed of air. But yeah, we have not to organize too much. So otherwise, I think also the lips are not able to work. So we have to give air to the lips, and then the lips organize something. So in a healthy way. Otherwise, we start
Yes,
to organize lips, and then we blow inside. I think it's not the right
I agree. That's very
start
interesting because it's very
mentality.
counterintuitive thing, for the flute. And also the vibrato you
Exactly.
were saying, and I totally agree. For instance, for me, it helps a lot that with the vibrato, when we're giving this then it opens also the sound.
The vibrato, it helps also to open the sound. Yeah, one of the main things that opens my sound was exactly the exercise on vibrato that with Claudio Montefiore and also James Galway later I did. For example, starting
Mhm,
just with diaphragm beats, for sure,
mhm,
no tongue, just ha, ha, from the
mhm,
very deep bass of the air, arriving to six notes.
mhm,
Then you put in music the same vibration, practicing before, and that
mhm.
enlarge the sound also because it's if you
Yeah.
don't want to crack, no, you have to create a vibrato that resists. But of course, the temptation of us is to control too much
Mhm.
to avoid to crack. So sometimes I say the crack is healthy. So if you crack,
Yes.
you are doing good with hair.
Yes. Yes.
Because no, sometimes it's healthy. Then try to don't crack, but also not control too much with muscle of lips. And of course, more space in the mouth, more space in the throat, most of all for the low octave. I think you are agree with this. And maybe little less space for the third octave is just not thinking close. I think another vowel because I
Mhm,
relate
mhm,
everything to the singer. No? Oi, 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 oi. From O to U, la U
mhm.
from flute, it's enough
Oh,
to
yeah.
have also a difficult jump. No, to a toy. No? It helps with embouchure and the speed of air together. But just this you can learn also without teacher if you are listening very well and you want all notes clean, all notes in tune, and in each dynamic
Yes.
beautiful sounds. You have to be teacher of
And totally
yourself,
know that
exactly like that.
I totally agree with everything you said. I think it's very well explained. No, no, of course,
I'm happy.
definitely, definitely.
I'm happy.
And one just thing I would like to add, and then it's that, of course, then you're saying about the vibrato, this Reinek example, and I agree totally. One needs to, I mean, we need we should know how to do it. Because then if you want musically to do
Yeah,
another thing, okay, but you need to control that because of
exactly.
because the
To
thing is
control
that
the
for
movements
me,
of
if you want to play
body.
this yeah, of course, then the feeling when playing without this vibrato, if you want, but it's the same, it's I mean, for me, it's very clear. I mean, maybe then I'm not using the same vibrato. I can change if I want, but the feeling is the same.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Like the violin that before, watch careful what happens in the finger, in the movement of the finger. Then his musical sensibility
but you
permit
need to,
to
but you need to know how
give
to.
different vibrato. But at the beginning, you
That's
need
it.
to know exactly the movement. Yeah, because not so many people practice really the vibrato because think it's something musical, natural things, and I don't want to force my natural music. No, but yeah, I think
Mm.
everything can be practiced. So, in one point of our student life, there's nothing to leave to the case, to the how do you say it?
No,
To the
no.
random case. No, nothing. Everything must
In
be
fact, one
controlled.
one thing
I
I
can say.
can also add to that is that later I try to play a little bit more
like yeah, historical if you want, a little bit more more like that, no?
Yeah,
And the thing is that yes, that I also had to practice that. You know what I mean? Because my
yeah, of
first
course,
way of
of
playing
course.
was a little bit more a la corda, everything like that. Yes,
Me too.
but
Me
then
too. Me
to
too.
do the other thing and internalizing it, you should also practice because otherwise it's not going to happen naturally. You know, this.
Of course. Also because one messa di voce need
Yes,
to be in
yes,
tune.
yes.
You can do not without control, no?
Yeah.
Otherwise, messa di
I
voce
share with you something I
something.
said, I don't know with whom, but the funny thing, sometimes I tell the students to find let's say, this kind of more Baroque sonority. It's a joke, really big joke, but this, so a little bit more this, and I make them, I make
Yeah,
them do this,
more.
to open a lot the flute, and then,
I do. I do too. I do. Yeah. Yeah.
and it helps a lot.
Exactly.
Great.
I did also in the last summer class that I had lucky to do on presence
Yes,
was a
yes.
cembalist, harpsichord. We try. He put on
Hmm.
4:30, 4:30, and I tried to go out,
Yes,
and
but
it's okay.
but the
It
thing
was
I think that
playable.
the important, yes, totally, and the important thing for me is that it is really possible to is what we are saying all the time with the ears. You
Yeah,
can really try to. I mean, it can really sound too good somehow. It
yeah,
can.
exactly. The I think the
Yes,
soul of the wood is still
yes,
inside our
yes. I think so. I
gold
think so.
flutes.
It's well. It's
And then we try to copy this no
yes.
effort, no way to blow, no effort
That's
in
it.
the
Because
normal
the
modern.
problem when we are
No,
normal is that we need more
yeah,
support. That's the problem. That's it's so
pressure.
easy
Yeah,
when it's like
exactly.
when it's like that. It's
I
like
think so. I do.
great.
I do often. Yeah, it's also nice to have very everything outside to try.
That's it. It's really good.
It's
It's
really
really good,
good.
and it's really easy. But I like then to try to apply the same
Easy. Yeah,
easiness when I play the normal. You know?
exactly.
Yes,
I'm
great.
very agree with this.
Maybe I will someday do a video about that. Now I remind it.
We have
Yes,
to do duets. We have to do
we have
duets.
to do live.
Live,
That's
live.
very complicated.
So how can you see I'm
No,
not so
but imagine.
technologic man? So to do duets
No,
like this
but
is
even
maybe
it's not
not.
possible because the synchronization. No, no, the synchronization is not working.
You
Then
come
yes,
to visit me to Lugano, or I
then we
come
can do a
to
duet,
Barcelona.
but only like that, not playing for 40. It's not
Yeah,
allowed.
no,
Yes.
no, semitone lower.
So I want to now start to finish because I know that maybe we run out. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I'm going to
probably
ask you like
we
last
have time
question,
to.
which is not about the flute. And another day, if you want, we will meet. And great. It's for me, it's a pleasure to speak with you, and it's great. So
Pleasure, pleasure for me.
I would like to know, and that's the finished question for this talk, and it would be, what is your advice for a young student now that is studying now in these ages? No?
So the period is difficult for everyone because there's no goals to no auditions, no competitions, so everything is still
Mhm.
suspended. But they really can take this occasion to practice their basics and new repertoire, maybe really pieces that they did have no time to practice. Now is a good occasion to do and keep a warm the motors, keep a warm up for the next year, because when then come out, everybody want to play better and sooner, and they want to win everything. So the competition will be more probably. So stay in good shape with practicing, because when everything that then come again normal, I hope soon, the people will be very competitive, and your competitors will be maybe more than before, because really everybody wants to play, want to show. And don't maybe have some planning to don't force your practice. I mean, when you are very concentrated, it's enough for 4 hours, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, or if you want 5, 2, and 3, it's very enough to keep focus in everything. And it's important that the menu is complete. A little bit of everything: harmonics, slowed, big liaison, scales, arpeggios, and exercise repertoire, and mixed together, because the brain remain active if you mix. Maybe I'm practicing Reinecke concerto, for example, and that passage remind me Reichert exercise, I'll do this. And maybe a Taffanel exercise remind me a scale of the other concerto, I do this. So jump, why not? And sometimes before the competition, because we hope that soon they do again competition. Before the competition, sometimes try to play without warm-up. Complete concerto and orchestral excerpt without warm-up, because maybe you lost your train, you are in hurry and late, and then you have to come to audition without your 2 hours of warm-up. So you can't be used to do all the day the same, because sometimes the real life, it's not like that. Now it happens, I need a concert tonight, come. You go and you substitute someone in concert, no? So sometimes try to really be more connected with the real life. And in these days, maybe that lockdown, we have not to do nothing. One day I start playing concerto, playing orchestral excerpt without warm-up, and I watch what happens. And then I re-practice things that maybe come out problematic or good, and I think about that. Because otherwise, all this time, we spend all this time to have our 2 hours warm up, and then with calm repertoire. And sometimes the life is not like that. So use this time to really try what will be.
Very interesting. Thanks. In fact, there is some concept that I think is very interesting, and it's needed to be disciplined, to have discipline, but but not to have always the same routine. That's very interesting concept. Yeah.
Exactly. We come back to the routine idea that it can be
I agree.
dangerous.
I totally agree with that.
Also psychological. If I know I don't have that hour of warm up, I'm in panic.
Totally.
So no, you have just to play all the time. You have just to play at your best that you can, with warm up, without warm up, with lockdown, without lockdown. So use this time to try different
I totally
situations.
Agree. So thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you.
I would really love that another day, if it's possible, live, we can meet and we can play something, or we can we can maybe discuss about some piece or whatever that we came up to. It would be amazing. And well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being here. It was super interesting, despite all the technical stupid things technical connection things. That's okay.
Sorry for
it's
the
okay. It's
audience.
Okay. I think it was not a problem. And yes, thanks everyone for being here watching. Thanks again to you, Andrea. And
thank you.
I hope that now you can go to eat something tasty.
Yeah, now I have to try my recipe. It's time to do another recipe.
Thanks a lot, as I have said, and
enjoy your dinner, your family, wife, and
doctor. Yes, a little
doctor you have.
A little doctor, yes.
Daughter.
The little one, yes. Let's see if now she's sleeping or not. Maybe I have to go to make her sleep. We'll see.
Maybe she'll sleep. So you can play some.
No, with the flute she wakes up immediately. If she hears it immediately, it's like that. Yes.
Yes. The flute is Papa.
Yes, it's like that.
Connection.
So. Thanks.
Good.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for being there, and hope to meet you in real life soon. Okay.
Okay. If someone wrote a question, I can answer directly.
Yes, no problem.
Your message.
There was people saying hi, but there was no one. I think I have not read someone doing an actual question.
Good.
Well, okay. They had their chance.
Maybe if it happens, I answer to you.
Thanks.
Ok,
ciao.
ciao.
Buona serata a tutti.
Buona serata.
Ciao.
Have a nice evening. Ciao.